Vice President Shetima departs to represent President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the G77 Leaders Summit in Cuba. Jigawa state government to collaborate with ITF on retraining youth on skills. More than 5,300 people died after flood in the Libyan city of Derna.
Today is 27 Safar 1445 after the Hijrah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is equivalent to 13 September 2023. I am Salamatun Aliman with the news and full. Vice President Kashim Shettima departed Nigeria to represent President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the G77 plus China Leaders Summit in Havana, Cuba, holding from September 15 to 17. Director of Information Office of the Vice President Olu Shola Abiola in a statement said Kashim Shettima will join other world leaders, including the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, at the summit. He said the summit will deliberate on development issues facing members, mostly from the global south. Mr. Abiola said that the Havana summit will be hosted by the President of the Republic of Cuba, Miguel Diaz-Canel, in his capacity as the chairman of the G77. The theme of the summit is current development challenges, the role of science, technology, and innovation. It will be recalled that Nigeria was a founding member of the G77 group established in 1964 by 77 developing countries. He says Mr. Shettima will be accompanied by Agriculture and Rural Development Minister Abubakar Kyari, his Innovation, Science and Technology counterpart Uche Naji, and the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs Adamu Lamua. No fewer than 936 people died in several boat mishaps in the last 3.5 years as the nation continues to lose its citizens over unregulated waterways. This is even as President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Tuesday directed immediate probe of recent boat mishaps that have become a recurring decimal in Nigeria. However, beyond the directive by the president, experts who spoke to newsmen urged both the federal and state government to go beyond rhetoric of ordering for probes and condolences and take concrete measures to address the menace. They also called for the provision of modern boats to replace wooden barges and canoes being used for transportation in many communities. It was reported that despite being blessed with abundant waterways crisscrossing 28 states and spanning 10,000 kilometers with about 3,800 kilometers navigable seasonally, Nigeria has continued to record deaths on the waterways due to a lack of effective regulation and enforcement of existing guidelines. Water accidents have claimed dozens of lives in the last 8 days, sparking criticism about the management of water transport in the northeastern state that is blessed with rivers and lakes. A former Minister of Women Affairs, Pauline Talin, asked Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar to join hands with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to build Nigeria. Speaking in an interview with News Agency of Nigeria, Talin said Tinubu's victory is a God project for the nation's unity and stability. Last Wednesday, the Presidential Election Petitions Tribunal upheld Tinubu's victory in February 25th poll. Talin asked Obi and Atiku to accept the verdict of the tribunal and ignore insinuations that the presidential election was manipulated. She said the emergence of Tinubu as Nigeria's president is a God project for the nation's unity and stability. She expressed optimism that Tinubu's presidency will make a positive impact on the country. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, says 13 states and 50 communities, mainly up north, are likely to witness heavy rainfall that may lead to flooding between September 13th and 17th. Mr. Ibrahim Faring Loye, Lagos Territorial Coordinator, NEMA, disclosed this in a statement in Lagos. Faring Loye listed the states and communities to include Kano State, with communities like Sumaila and Kuchi, likely to be affected. He also said that Kebbi State with communities like Argungu and Katsina State with Bindawa, Jibia, Kaita and Katsina communities will be affected. Gombe State with Nafada and Jigawa with Duse, Gumel, Gwaram and Miga communities where the other state and community territorial coordinator said will be affected. Other states, according to him, were Niger, Kwara State, Zamfara State, Bauchi, Taraba, Adamawa, Yobe, and Borno State. Fereloye added that due to the rise in the water levels of River Benue and Niger, communities along the two rivers up to Bayelsa were advised to take precautionary measures in the coming days. The Kano Jigawa Area Command of Nigerian Customs Service (NCS) has collected 28.8 billion naira as revenue from January to August. NCS outgoing area controller Sambo Dangaladima made this known while handing over to the new area controller Dauda Ibrahim Chana today in Kano. Dangaladima said that about 5.1 billion naira was collected in August due to aggressive and strict compliance adopted by the area command. He explained that the command had put in place sensitive security measures that will ensure goods coming into its area of jurisdiction paid duties. Similarly, the area command has seized prohibited items worth 284 million naira in the last 8 months. The outgoing controller said that the area command had ordered officers deployed to border posts to intensify efforts in preventing any form of smuggling activities. Dangaladima called on officers and men of the command to extend support and cooperation to the new area controller. The news is coming to you from the studios of Sawaba Radio. Moments after the short break, stay tuned.
This is News on the Hour. Sawaba Radio FM. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. It's time to the services of Sawaba Radio 104.9 Hadija. In its effort to create job opportunities through youth empowerment, the Jigawa State government had signed a memorandum of understanding with the Industrial Training Fund. The occasion took place at the Government House, Dutse. Governor Malam Umar Namadi, while speaking before the signing, welcomes the idea as such will help the state in its yearnings of reducing the number of unemployment youths in the state. Correspondent Zekifel Abdullah Dago completes the story.
The governor said, considering the huge number of youths in the state, it is pertinent to create job opportunities for them through skill acquisition. According to him, to achieve this, he created an agency of youth empowerment that will actualize this ambition, and the only way out is to collaborate with the Industrial Training Fund (ITF).
I think it is high time that we as governors realize the importance of ITF in trying to deal with our social problems in Nigeria. One of my basic problems during the campaign programs, the number of youths that always come out to welcome us when we go for campaign. It gives me a lot of concern, sometimes trauma, because these guys, you must take care of them. If you didn't take care of these guys, we are sitting on a time bomb.
He extols the capability of ITF in terms of rendering training services, which he says has the base brains that can be relied on. He therefore said currently the state is training some youths on hand pump repair, one from each political ward in the state.
One of the major problems we have in our drive to supply good drinking water to our people is our hand pumps. The number of hand pumps we have is that too much, and they are always one problem or the other. So we decided to train at least one person in each political ward on repairs of hand pump. And I'm sure they are still in the training center. When they are through, we are going to give them full kits for hand pump maintenance updates. Not only that, we will give an instruction. All the 27 local government chairmen, these guys are the people to be patronized when it comes to this.
Earlier, the Director General of ITF, Mr. Joseph Ari, said the number of youths in the country could be beneficial if properly utilized.
We have since realized, Your Excellency, that the booming population of Nigeria do a great advantage to our nation, because when we talk about comparative advantage to other developed nations of the world, the population is one thing we can quickly show. When put to productive use with skilled hands and with artificial brains, when you have a skilled manpower, we can transport and export some of these hands even to other climes of the world. When not put to productive use, if the population is not skilled, they would only go overseas to be engaged in menial jobs.
He then commended the effort of Governor Malam Umar Namadi on his plan in the area of youth empowerment and assured him that ITF will assist the state with a mobile training van to train its youths.
With the efforts I have seen His Excellency put in place, as soon as we return, we are going to send one of the vans here to Jigawa for the mobile training. It has a workshop like this. We brought it from Brazil. And if we come here, it is going to add value to what the government is doing. So I am here basically, first of all, I wanted to see firsthand. And when I saw what you are doing in 100 days, Your Excellency, I know that better days lie ahead for the people of Jigawa State under your watch. So we are here to sign the MOU. Like I said, you have about 7 skill centers in the state. Going forward, we'll see how we can put them to proper and productive use.
The ITF has no office in Jigawa State, which makes its activities almost imperceptible. In view of this, Governor Umar Namadi has directed the state head of service to make provision for the establishment of an ITF office in the state with immediate effect in Duse. I am Zalikifil Abdullah Dogu, Sawaba Radio.
Thank you, Zikiful Abdullah Dago, for that. Governor Malam Umar Namadi has approved the appointment of 4 new permanent secretaries to fill existing vacancies in the state civil service. This was contained in a statement signed by the state head of the civil service, Alhaji Hussein Ikla. He said the new appointees were directors elevated to positions of permanent secretaries. Those appointed are Dr. Abdullahi Haruna, Ishawu Abduduse, Nura Muhammad Ubaye, and Awalu Ado Shehu. Alhaji Hussein Alikila said the appointment of the new permanent secretaries was based on merit, competence, and personal integrity. According to the statement, Governor Malam Umar Namadi will on Wednesday, 20th of this month, swear in the 4 new appointed permanent secretaries at the Council Chamber Government House. The statement said the appointment takes immediate effect. The chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, Kaduna State Chapter, Joseph Hayab, said that bandits have killed 23 pastors and shot down over 200 churches across Kaduna State. Mr. Hayab disclosed this during a meeting with the State Commissioner of Police, Musa Garba, and pastors from different church denominations across the 23 local government areas of the state. The CAN leader explained that the church had gone through difficult times due to the activities of criminal elements in the state. The clergy called on the CP to look into the cases of those selling hard drugs, saying most of the criminals acts were committed under the influence of hard drugs. Responding, the CP stressed that criminality had no religion, saying that whoever engaged in any act of criminality should be addressed as criminal without profiling him or her as a Christian or a Muslim. More than 5,300 bodies have so far been recovered in Ghana. This is the worst affected city where at least 34,000 people have been displaced, according to a local report by the ministry. Rescue workers from Turkey and Egypt have arrived in Ghana region to help. With Libya divided between 2 rival governments, concerns have been raised that their rivalry will make aid missions more difficult. However, the two appear to put on a rare show of unity, though the Tripoli-based government has warned it will only accept foreign help where necessary. Devastation in Ghana was caused by 2 dams busting, and their maintenance has been called into question by rival groups. More international emergency teams and humanitarian aid organizations are on their way. However, the Red Cross admits the window to find survivors may be drawing to a close. The International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Society said the situation in Libya's flood-hit area is like a bombardment and an earthquake happening at the same time, according to Tomasa Della Longa. It tells reporters that 3 of their volunteers have died while trying to save lives in Libya. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has offered his country's full and unconditional support for Russia's war in Ukraine, which he called a sacred fight against imperialism and the West, in a meeting with President Vladimir Putin. The leaders met at the Vostochny Cosmodrome, Russia's most advanced space rocket launch site located in the country's far east, with their countries facing international isolation and sanctions over Moscow's invasion of Ukraine and Pyongyang's nuclear and ballistic weapons program. Kim told Putin that Russia has risen to a sacred fight to protect its sovereignty and security against the hegemonic forces. Russia's state media said that the two leaders had a formal meeting of about an hour, followed by a 15-minute private conversation, and then an official lunch hosted by Putin in Kim's honor. The United States has grown increasingly alarmed by the possibility of an arms deal between Russia and North Korea, with Putin seeking to replenish supplies of conventional munitions depleted by heavy artillery used in Ukraine. Kim was seen as likely to request access to advanced technology for spy satellites and nuclear-powered submarines, as well as food aid. That has been the news. Before I go, a recap of the major stories. From the news warhead, Vice President Shettima departs to represent President Bola Tinubu at G77 Leaders Summit in Cuba. Jigawa State Government to collaborate with ITF on retraining youths on skills. More than 5,300 people died after flood in the Libyan city of Dana. That has been the news about the news department. Our editor, Lukman Rayuwa, continuing to announce Salma Adam Iko. I am Salamatu Aliman saying good night.